Dhamma Sarana. Thanks for tuning in to this week's live streaming session. I am Theoni Karunaratna, and it's my privilege to be the moderator for today. I hope that everyone is well and safe at home. So many of you are participating today, and it's great to see that you're all keeping up the meritorious habit of setting aside some time to learn the Buddhism. Today's topics will be the 4 stages of enlightenment and 10 fetters, and why happiness is elusive to most, with an important guidance to achieving a true state of happiness in your life. In today's panel, we have Venerable Panya Lokatero and one of our very own teachers, Nandalal Teacher. Thank you to our presenters for your time and dedication. Remember that although these presentations are designed for older students, it can be very useful for all ages. Make sure you all have a pen and paper to take down some notes about the lessons or jot down some questions. Your questions will be answered in the Q&A session at the end, so make sure you type in relevant queries only. On Microsoft Teams, make sure to click the question mark at the top of the screen to type your question into the box. And for our viewers on YouTube, just post your question in the chat. You did a really good job at posting relevant questions only last week, so keep that up. You can post questions at any time, and time permitting, we will answer as many questions as possible. Okay, let's make a start. May I respectfully invite Venerable Panya Lokatero to administer the 5 precepts and then guide us all in a brief meditation session. Can I have everyone sitting nice and relaxed with your hands together? Avasarai Swaming Mahansa, over to you, Venerable Panya Lokatero.
Thank you, Theoni. Dhamma Sarana. Dear children and parents, please get ready to observe 5 precepts. Keep your palm together and up and say Namo Tassa for 3 times. Say loudly, Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato. Please repeat after me. Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Tatyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Tatyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Tatyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Sarana Gamanang Sampunnang. Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Adinādāna Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Kāmesu miccācārā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Suramēraya majjapamādaṭṭhāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. තිසරණේන සද්දින් පංච සීලං ධම්මං අප්පමාදේන සම්පාදේ තබ්බං. Okay, now let's practice calming down meditation. Meditation on breathe in and breathe out, what we call Anapanasati Bhavana. Before you start meditation, you need to relax your body. To relax the body, you need to withdraw your attention from outside and focus within. Focus to your body. It means you close your eyes gently. Now everybody close your eyes gently and mentally note the posture you are sitting. Whole your awareness is focused to your body. You are very well aware of the posture that you are sitting. Mentally note that posture and note that I here now. I here now. Okay, so do you know that you are sitting here now? Eyes are closed. Mentally you see the body. All the activities of this body is stopped except one. What is that? That is breathe in, breathe out. All other activities are stopped. This body is breathing in and breathing out. So gradually bring your awareness to upper body and bring your awareness to the face and gradually bring your awareness to the nostril. So just watch the breath. The breath goes in and coming out. If you cannot focus the both ingoing and outgoing breath, just focus on ingoing breath. Ana, inhaling. With awareness, breathe in. If you can observe both breathe in and breathe out, observe it. Don't control anything, just watch what's going on. Your whole body is relaxed, mind is calm. You observe this breath. The breath goes in and coming out. It is very serene and peaceful. You just observe the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Thoughts are coming and going. Sounds are coming and going. Let go everything. You just notice, observe the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Keep your back straight, head straight, and observe the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Okay, now slowly bring your attention to your eyes and with intention open your eyes and relax the body. Thank you. Over to you, Devni.
Thank you, Swami Vahansa. Venerable Panya Lokadero is also our first speaker for this session and will be giving us all a valuable lesson on the 4 stages of enlightenment and the 10 fetters. It will be a very valuable piece of knowledge to understand for the future. Avasarai Swami Vahansa, over to you, Venerable Panya Lokadero.
Okay, thank you again, Devni. Dear children, today I'm going to explain you the 4 stages of enlightenment and 10 fetters. Most of you are aware about the 4 stages of enlightenment. They are the first one is stream enterer, second one is once returner, third one is non-returner, and the fourth one is arahat. So let's go to next slide and explain them one by one. Sotapanna is the first stage of enlightenment. It's translated as stream enterer. A stream enterer is one who, through the development of right understanding in Sammasati, has attained the path and the fruit of the first stage of enlightenment and has thus entered the stream that is the Noble Eightfold Path leading to full enlightenment. It means stream enterer means the stream is the Noble Eightfold Path. I hope you are aware of the Noble Eightfold Path: Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva, Samma Vayama, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi. One who enters into this stream is known as Sotapanna. A stream enterer eradicates the first 3 fetters of 10 fetters. Later I will explain 10 fetters, but just remember the one who enters the first level of enlightenment, first stage of enlightenment, eradicate the first 3 fetters, and they are Sakkaya Ditthya, illusion of self. The second is Vichikicha, skeptical doubt. The third is Silabbata Paramasa, means attachment to rites and rituals. So the person who entered into the first level eradicate those 3 fetters. He or she will never again be born in a lower unhappy realm of existence and will only be born in the human or celestial realm of existence. It means a person who has attained to the first level of enlightenment or Sotapanna person will never go to a lower realm in Apaya or hell or animal world. He will be born, he or she will be born only in human or celestial world. A stream enterer, through further cultivation of the Noble Eightfold Path, will attain fully enlightenment within a maximum of 7 more births. This is also very important. He has only 7 more births. This is the situation, this is the status of a person who is Sotapanna or stream enterer. Let's go to next slide, please. The second stage of enlightenment is Sakadagami or once returner. The second stage is the enlightenment. It is Sakradagami, or here you can see a R, all right? Sakradagami or Sakadagami. Sakradagami means in Sanskrit. Sakadagami it says in Pali. Anyway, it is same. Literally mean one who once comes. He only once he or she returned to this world. Both of the stream enterer and the once returner have abandoned the first 3 fetters completely. They are abandoned. The stream enterer and the once returner are distinguished by the fact that the once returner has weakened the next 2 fetters of the 10 fetters. Okay, next 2 fetters, sensual desire, kamaraga, ill and ill will. These 2 are weakened only, not completely eradicated at the second level. Once returner will be reborn in the human or celestial world realm only once more before attain fully enlightenment. Okay, these are the status of Sakadagami or person who enter into the second level of the enlightenment. Let's go to the next slide, please. The third level is that of the enlightenment Anagami. Literally mean one who does not come. The non-returner has attained the third stage of enlightenment, completely eradicate the 5 lower fetters. Namely, they are illusion of self, Sakkaya Ditthi, skeptical doubt, Vichikicha, attachment to rites and rituals, Silabbata Paramasa, sensual desire, Kamaraga, and ill will, Patiga. These are the 5 lower fetters. The person who has attained to the third stage of enlightenment eradicate these 5 lower fetters. However, the 5 higher fetters still remain with him or her. As the fetters of sensual desire has been completely eradicated, the non-returner will not be reborn in the human or celestial realm, but will be reborn in one of the 5 Brahma worlds called pure abodes or Suddhavasa and attain fully enlightenment there. I hope you understand. The one who attained to the Anagami level or the third stage of enlightenment will not be born in a human world or divine world or celestial world. They will be born in a Brahma world. They are called Suddhavasa. From there, they will attain to the enlightenment. The lifespan of this Brahma world is very long. Okay, we cannot even imagine. It says like 500 eons, like. So they stay there, Suddhavasa, and will attain from to the enlightenment from there. Let's move to the next slide, please. So the fourth stage is that of enlightenment is Arahat or Arahant, means a fully awakened person. The last 5 of the 10 fetters, namely desire to be born in fine material worlds, that is Ruparaga, desire to be born in formless material world, Aruparaga, conceit, that is Mana, restlessness, Uddhacha, and ignorance, Avidya, will be totally dedicated before one attains the Arahanthood. So, an Arahant has totally dedicated all 10 fetters that bind one to the cycle of birth and death, what we call samsara, and will never be born in any plane or any world. So this is the level that we all wanted to be attained, and by attained there we use another name for that attainment, that is Nibbana. If you heard, you know Nirvana or Nibbana. There is no rebirth, and therefore there is no suffering after attain that level. All the sufferings end with the attainment of that fully enlightenment or arahanthood. During the time of the Buddha, there were many arahantas, and later also there were many. And the people who practiced the Four Noble Truth and Noble Eightfold Path, the final goal is to attain to this arahantship and end all sufferings. Now let's see these 10 fetters and how they are gradually eradicated. So let's move to next slide, please. So the 10 fetters are called Dasa Sangyojana. Dasa mean 10, Sangyojana mean fetters or obstacle or hindrances. They are obstacle or hindrances for gaining enlightenment. Okay, when we want to attain enlightenment, but these are the hindrances, these are the fetters, these are the obstacles. They are actually chains or bonds that bind one to the process of rebirth. So if one want to attain to the enlightenment, they have to break these chains and or bonds. In Dasa Sanyojana Sutta, there is a discourse in Anguttara Nikaya called Dasa Sanyojana Sutta. The Buddha has explained these 10 fetters. They are, the first one is Sakkaya Ditti, or the illusion of self. Illusion of self is also known as personality view or delusion of self. This is the view which mistakenly identifies the 5 aggregates are self, soul, I, or me. Maybe you have heard from Dhamma Sarana that Buddha's explained there is no I, me, or myself. If you don't understand that clearly, it means you still have Sakkaya Ditti, mean illusion of self or personality belief, delusion of self. Okay, so that is a big barrier, big obstacle for one to attain enlightenment. The concept of I or me has been described as an illusion in the teachings of the Buddha. Okay, because clinging to 5 aggregates, we believe that I and me. It is an illusion. Identification with the self has been described as responsible for the development of mental defilements such as egoism, conceit, craving, attachment, selfishness, ill will, hatred. These are defilements. All these defilements come because of the Sakkaya Ditthi. Then the second one is Vichikicha, doubt about the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, and Buddha's enlightenment, and also the spiritual training required, like Sila, Samadhi, Panya, the doubt about the past and future, doubt about the dependent origination, Paticca Samuppada. So these are the doubts. This skeptical doubt is not healthy doubt. I hope you remember when I explained Pancha Nivarana, 5 hindrances, I mentioned about this doubt. Asking question to know something is good. Okay, this is a healthy. If you want to know something more clearly, you should ask questions. But this doubt is like this: oh, we don't know whether Buddha lived in India or not. We don't know whether Buddha said this or not. Like that, they have doubts. They don't have faith or confidence. It means so. Doubt is a hindrances. Then the sensual desire, the attachment to rites and rituals. The third one. Okay, Silabbata Paramat. It means there were so many practices during the time of the Buddha, self-mortification and animal lifestyles. Like some ascetic behave like dogs, some like cows, some like goats. Okay. They practice that they can be that is the path to liberation. The Buddha said attachment to that kind of rites and rituals are wrong. It is Silabbata Paramasa. It is wrong, and that way one cannot achieve to the enlightenment. What is then the right path to attain to the enlightenment? That is the Noble Eightfold Path, right view, right thought, right understanding, right? That Noble Eightfold Path. That is the right path. Silabbata Paramata is a wrong way. Then the third one is sensual desire, kama raga, desire for sensual pleasure. With that also I explain when I explain the Pancha Nivarana, 5 hindrances. The fifth is ill will or patiga, anger, hate, jealousy, aversion, hostility, hatred. This is a big obstacle. That's also in the 5 hindrances, under the 5 hindrances. Then the sixth one is desire to be born in the fine material worlds. That means to be born in Rupa Brahma Loka. Okay. Do you know, according to the Buddhist teaching, there are 31 planes of existence into which one can be born during the cycle of rebirth. Okay, 31 planes, the worlds. They are divided 11 planes of sensuous existence or Kama Loka. 11 planes, 11 worlds are there. There are 6 heavens, human world and 4 apayas. Then 16 planes of fine material existence, Rupa Brahma Loka. Here, so desire to be born in fine material worlds, Rupa Raga mean to be born in one of the 16 planes of fine material existence. When you read Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, you can learn the names of these fine material existence, Rupa Brahma Loka. And The next one is desire to be born in formless world. Formless world, there are four formless world, immaterial existence, Arupa Brahma Loka. So 31 planes of existence worlds are divided into three groups. 11 sensuous world, Kama Loka, 16 planes of fine material existence, and 4 planes of immaterial existence. 11, 16, and 4 are 31. So desire to be born in formless world, Arupa Raga means that desire to be born in 4 planes of immaterial existence, Arupa Brahma Loka. Then the conceit, man, that is also a big defilement, big fetter. Then the next one is mana. Actually, the mana or conceit is divided into 3. Seyyamana, Sadisimana, Heenamana. Seyyamana means I am superior to others. Sadisimana means I am equal to others. Heenamana means I am inferior to others. In this way, we measure us. So the mana means that. Then the 9th is restlessness or uddacha. Restlessness as a fetter refers to the mental restlessness, not physical restlessness here, okay? Mental restlessness. Restlessness with worry, Uddacha Kukkucha, has been described as one of the 5 hindrances. Again, you remember. So the mental restlessness comes especially when practice meditation. Oh, I couldn't attain to this level, that level. I couldn't attain my expectation. In that way, the mind become unrest. This is Uddacha. Then the number 10 is ignorance, Avijja. Okay. Avijja means ignorance or lack of knowledge. As a fetter, it does not refer to ignorance in general sense, but to ignorance of the 4 noble truths. So that is the ignorance of 4 noble truths. The 4 noble truths are Dukkha, Samudaya, Nirodha, Magga, truth of universal suffering, truth of origin of suffering, the truth of cessation of suffering, truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. So these are the 10 fetters that we have to eradicate when we to attain enlightenment. Next slide, please. I think if you can take a screenshot of this, and you can later also understand clearly. This is a very good chart to explain how these 10 fetters are eradicated in different levels of enlightenment. The first level, stream enterer, eradicate 3 fetters: illusion of self, skeptical doubt, and practice of mere rituals and rules. Okay. The second level, once returner eradicate them, and also he weaken next 2 fetters, that is sensual desire and ill will. And the non-returner eradicate all 5 lower fetters. Arahant, the person who eradicate all the 10 fetters. And in the last column you have how many rebirths they have. Up to 7 births, stream enterer, once returner, 1 more time as a human. Non-returner, once more in heavenly realm or pure abodes. then Arahant, no rebirth. So this explain. The important thing is, dear children, this is very important. I don't want you to memorize this fetters and also the levels and all this. The only thing you need to remember is that as an ordinary human being, I have these weaknesses. Okay, these fetters are weaknesses. I have this. I should make effort to eradicate them. And to eradicate them, to get rid from them, you need to develop mindfulness, awareness. Otherwise, when they present in you, you don't know about it. So you should have a basic idea about this. These 10 verses, Sakkaya Ditthi, Vicikiccha, Silabbata Paramasa, these things. And when they are within you, when they present in you, you should have mindfulness, awareness to understand that I am under the influence of these fetters. These fetters are hindrances for my spiritual development. I should practice to let this go. Okay. This is the I think end of my slides. And thank you everybody. And if you have any questions, please ask. I am happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much. Over to you, Tevni Dual.
Thank you, Venerable Panya Lokadero, for a very engaging and useful talk during our session today. So, brothers and sisters, it was great how Swami Mahansa was able to educate us on the 4 stages of enlightenment and the 10 fetters. This information we learnt today will help us later on in our journey through Buddhism. Our next speaker is Nandalal Teacher. He'll be giving us a presentation on why happiness is elusive to most. This meaning, why is it so difficult to achieve? This lesson will be very useful and valuable, so make sure you listen closely. I will let our teacher explain in full detail. Okay, over to you, Nandalal Teacher.
Thank you, Tevni. Ayubowan, Venerable Swamin Mahansa, dear panel members, parents, and my dear students. I hope you are all well. So today's my presentation topic is why is happiness elusive to us most? Or in other words, why for most of us the happiness can't be achieved? I would like to start my topic with a little story. So I have a PowerPoint presentation to share with you now. So I will start with my topic with a little story. And so once when Lord Buddha was residing in Jetavana, King Pasenadi of Kosala Kingdom came to see him. This king likes Lord Buddha's company, so he comes to see him quite regularly. However, the king had a problem with his eating and would eat quite a lot of rice for his meals. Hence, he had put a lot of weight. On this occasion, he had come to see Lord Buddha just after such a heavy meal. Even though he wanted to lie down due to his sleepiness, he could not do that because he had a lot of respect for Lord Buddha. Seeing his discomfort, Lord Buddha inquired. Then he complained to Lord Buddha the problem that he was having. He was admonished with a small trick to reduce the eating. So the king practiced this method for some time and came to see Lord Buddha. Having followed Lord Buddha's instructions, he had lost weight and was now quite healthy. And his other personal problems too have now been solved. All these things made the king very happy. He told Lord Buddha about them. If we move to the next slide, so 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 if we move to the next slide, yeah. Yeah, just one more slide, please. So on hearing this, Lord Buddha preaches the following gatha: Arogya parama labha, santutti paramam dhanam, vissasa parama jnati, nibbanam paramam sukham. So the meaning of the gatha is: health is the greatest gift, contentment is the greatest wealth, a trusted friend is the best relative, enlightenment is the greatest bliss. So basically Lord Buddha is saying, even though you may have a lot of gifts, if you are not of good health, then you are missing the greatest gift. Secondly, even though if you have a lot of wealth, if you are not content with what you have got, then you are missing the greatest wealth. Trusted friend is the best relative you can have, and enlightenment is the greatest happiness or bliss. So I started my presentation with this story, since Lord Buddha preaches us with this story, the greatest happiness that is possible to us, with this Dhammapada Gatha, which is Nibbana or enlightenment. If we move to the next slide, so you children all know as Buddhists that the final goal that we all hope for is the enlightenment. With all meritorious deeds that we do, we all aspire to attain the enlightenment one day. If I were to ask you the purpose for the enlightenment, you might say it is for the ending of unsatisfactoriness in our lives. Enlightenment is described as the state of ultimate happiness. If we move to the next slide, even though it may take many lives to attain, we expect that all our good deeds would help us to achieve the ultimate happiness one day. Lord Buddha's teaching was aimed for the liberation for us all through the attainment of eternal ultimate happiness. Let me ask you a riddle now. Let's see how many of you can get it. The riddle is, what place in universe is the most difficult to see? How powerful the microscope or the telescope may be, it would be impossible to see this place. Do you know this place? Did you get it? Well, the place is point right under your nose. So now let us go back to our today's topic. The topic was, why is happiness so elusive to us all? The happiness is so elusive to us all because it is right under our nose. When I say right under our nose, I meant it is within us. Let us see how Lord Buddha preaches us about this. If we move to our next slide, once when Lord Buddha was residing in Jetavana monastery, there was a bhikkhu who went to a nearby mountain fall for meditation. The devout lady who looked after this bhikkhu with arms and all that has attained the third stage of the enlightenment path, or the Anagami stage, which the Swamin Wahanse just described to you now. She has reached this third stage, through her diligent practice of meditation. She also developed supernatural powers and had the ability to read the minds of others. The bhikkhu got worried that this lady would come to know of any impure thought that could arise in his mind. So he left the place and came to Lord Buddha to report his fear. On hearing this, Lord Buddha preached to bhikkhu this gatha. Dunni gahassa lahuno yatta kamani patino chittassa dhammato sadhu tantam chittam sukhavaham. So the meaning goes like this. The mind is so swift, it keeps jumping toward what it desires. Good is the taming of the mind. The tamed mind brings happiness. So Lord Buddha preaches to this bhikkhu, the mind is so quick, it jumps from one to another thing, whatever it desires. If you tame your mind, that will bring you, that will be for your good. The tamed mind will bring you happiness. So Lord Buddha preached this bhikkhu to look inwards and to control his mind. So if we move to our next slide. So Lord Buddha preaches for attaining happiness, all what we have to do is to look inward and to control our minds. Most times you would have thought that your happiness was dependent upon the external object which you desire. But through experience, by now you may know that such happiness is only short-lived. Your happiness with your new phone or the computer game would last only long as the newer version is released. Your happiness would not be dependent upon what you have or what you have achieved, but how your mind is reacting to what you have or what you achieved. I would like to share this photo to explain what I mean. If you move to the next slide, these very poor street children, they do not own phones or have the means for getting them, but they are being quite happy as a person with a phone by pretending to be so. They are just using a slipper to take a selfie, and you can see the happiness from their faces. So if you move to the next slide, so even though I said that, this does not mean that the laymen are not supposed to be making any effort for creating wealth. So although Lord Buddha's aim was to direct us for enlightenment, he also advised on layman's happiness. Lord Buddha preaches 4 kinds of happiness that are to be desired by a layman. So the first one, Atti Sukha. First happiness is the enjoyment of economic security or sufficient wealth that was acquired by just and righteous means. So Lord Buddha wants us to work hard and to create wealth through justifiable means. Bhoga Sukha. Second happiness is the spending of the justifiably earned wealth on himself, his family, his friends and relatives, and non-meritorious deeds. If you create and if you just keep on accumulating, that is also of no use. So that's why the Bhoga Sukha is there. Ananda Sukha, the third happiness, is the ability to be free from debts. Even if you had Atti Sukha, but if you created this wealth through debts which are beyond your control of repaying, then you will not have this happiness. You will always be worrying, how am I going to repay this debt, which is beyond your control. Last one, Anavajja Sukha. The fourth happiness can be achieved by leading a faultless and a pure life without evil in thought, word or deed. If someone was to do an evil thing, from the moment the person realizes the gravity of the action, the repentment would start. So that person would always be worrying of the evil thing that he had done. So the Anavajja Sukha is important. However, Lord Buddha did not consider these types of happiness as the main objective of a person. Here is an example. If you move to our next slide. Once when Lord Buddha was residing in Jetavana, a god came to see him. This god knew only of the happiness that can be derived through possessions. So he declares, one who has sons delights in sons, one with cattle delights in cattle. Acquisitions truly are a man's delight. Without acquisition, one does not delight. To this, Lord Buddha replied like this. One who has sons sorrows over son. One with cattle sorrows over cattle. Acquisitions truly are a man's sorrows. Without acquisitions, one does not sorrow. So the god is claiming that acquisitions are where a man's happiness. The Lord Buddha refutes that. Here the Lord Buddha preaches the same possessions that gives you the pleasures will give you the sorrow too. You would recall the first scratch on your new phone or the time your dog got sick. So the same possessions that gave you the pleasures have been the cause for your sorrow too. Happiness and sorrowfulness are like the two sides of the same coin, where you cannot have one side without the other. If you move to the next slide, Let us focus on types of happiness as Lord Buddha described. How Lord Buddha categorized happiness is further evidenced in Niramisa Sutta. There are 3 types of happiness. What are they? First one, worldly happiness. These are the pleasures that are obtained through the gratification of the 5 senses. So all pleasurable visual, sounds, odors, flavors, tastes, and bodily sensations are worldly happiness. However, Lord Buddha compares pursuing worldly happiness to a dog who is trying to fulfill its hunger with a bone that has barely any meat in it. You know how long a dog may chew a bone, it will never fulfill its hunger. Second one, unworldly happiness. This is happiness resulting from high mental states or jhana by practicing samatha meditation. These states of unworldly happiness are so great, one can never compare them with the worldly happiness, which are so flimsy. However, this type of unworldly happiness is temporary too. The third one, greatly unworldly happiness. A person can achieve greater unworldly happiness by attaining nibbana or enlightenment. A person who achieves enlightenment, burning all impurities of the mind, enjoys this greater unworldly happiness. That happiness is free from the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. This is the highest state of happiness a person can achieve. If we move to the next slide, I would like to end my presentation with a discussion which happened between a god and Lord Buddha. It explains a state of mind with unworldly happiness. When Lord Buddha was residing in rest, a god or a
difficulty. Now let's get on to the questions. So my first question is for Venerable Panya Lokathera, and that question is, if you get Sotapanna or another stage, then can you get to a level below that? Again, if you get Sotapanna or another stage, then can you get to a level below that? Over to you, Venerable Panya Lokathera.
Thank you, Tevni, and thank you, the student who asked that question. The answer is no. He or she who has attained to the Sotapanna or higher level of enlightenment will not get to a lower level. Why is that? If you remember, I said the Sotapanna means an stream enterer. Okay, it is because the ones who enter into the stream, that stream goes to the ocean. The ocean is the fully enlightenment level, Nibbana. This is a one-way path, one-way stream, no return, not coming back. Step by step, the person get rid from defilements of the mind and reach higher levels, not lower levels. Therefore, if one enter into the first level of enlightenment, that means Sotapanna, he or she is safe and secured in the journey of samsara, not come back to the lower level or pruthakjana level. So that is the answer. I hope that's enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable Panya Lokathera, for that very detailed answer. Now, I do have another one for you, Swami Wahansa, and that question is, will something happen if you break only one of the 4 stages? And again, will something happen if you break only one of the 4 stages? Over to you, Venerable Panya Lokathera.
Okay, Deoni, this question is not very clear. It means the break. There is no break here. You know, generally we break precepts or the rules and regulations. There is no break here. One cannot break it just like you break the precepts. Maybe you understand that if you not maintain that level, what will happen or something like that. But it is something that you earn, this level, these stages of enlightenment is the stages that you achieve. It is a development of the mind. So again, I have to say that you are entering into a stream, one-way stream, you go straight ahead, developing step by step. there is no break like you break precepts. So in these stages of enlightenment, until you once you enter into it, until you attain to the full enlightenment, you go ahead, not stop. Okay, thank you.
Thank you again for that detailed answer, Swami Mahansa. Now we have a lot of questions for you. So the next one is, why do we have greed? Again, why do we have greed? Over to you, Venerable Panya Lokatero.
Thank you. This is a very good question. I want to ask you, why do you have greed? Why do we have greed? Why do I have greed? Okay, the answer I can give, that until and unless you have this Sakkaya Ditthi, or the concept of I, me, and myself, we have greed. And this greed we have been developed throughout the many lives in the past. To get rid of them is not easy. The best way to understand how gradually we can give up the greed is to learn the life stories of the Bodhisattva, the Buddha's previous stories of Buddha's previous lives. He gradually let go all the attachment and greeds, and finally he fulfilled it by giving Dana, his own 2 children and his wife in the life of Vesantara. So because of actually we have this greed because of we have the concept of I, me and myself. So this is the thing that we are bound to the journey of samsara. So it's very important that you learn to share things and let go things gradually, slowly. It's not overnight thing to do. It is gradual practice. Let go things. So greed we have accumulated from in this long journey of samsara, until we have this concept of I, me and myself, we develop it. To reduce the greed, you need to come out of the notions of I, me and myself, self-centered thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you for all of those answers, Swami Mahansa. I'm sure the students learnt a lot. Now we do have one last question for Nandalal teacher, and that question is, how can we achieve a high mental state, or jhana? Again, how can we achieve a high mental state or jhana? Over to you, Nandalal teacher.
Thank you, Theuni, for the question. High mental state of jhana can be achieved through samatha meditation. So, there are, I believe there could be about 40 meditational objects which Lord Buddha has recommended. So if you select one of those meditational objects, and if you keep your mind totally focused on that object for when your mind becomes totally absorbed in that mental object, then your mind comes to a very deep, calmful state, which is called a jhana. So, it happens through the total absorption of the mind with the meditational object, and the result of that would be so if you, as a result of that, you may be born in higher realms, but that is also Lord Buddha does not recommend highly, because it is temporary, its temporary nature. Yes, that is what jhana is. Thank you, Theuni. Over to you.
Okay, thank you, Nandalal teacher, for that answer. Now we do have one last question for Venerable Panya Lokathero, and that is, how do we know when we've attained a certain level? Again, how do we know when we have attained a certain level? Over to you, Venerable Panya Lokathero.
Okay, Theoni. That's also a good question. These people want to check whether I have attained to that level or this level. It's also a desire to know that to the level that they have attained. The important thing is here, if you don't have those fetters within you, if those fetters, so you know the 10 fetters, if you don't have first 3 fetters within you, not at this moment, okay, not for a short time, but if those fetters are not present in you for a long time, when you practice, when you engage in the society, when you meet with the people, if those fetters are not present within you, you can guess that I have some development of attainment. But important thing is to not to judge in this way, but continue developing the noble eightfold path. That is the path. So that if you practice noble eightfold path, you will attain to this level, and you will notice that you can understand that those weaknesses, those defilements are not present in my mind. So it means I have some development, I have some attainment. Okay, this is important. So the 10 fetters are the chains or the obstacles. If those fetters are not within you, if they are not present in you, you have attained to those levels of enlightenment. Thank you.
Thank you, Nandalal teacher and Venerable Panya Lokathero for that answer. We cannot answer any more questions due to the time limit, but I'm sure there were many more good questions that you can ask any of your parents. Okay, thank you to all the students that were confident enough to ask their questions about Buddhism. And thank you for your attention. The next Zoom online class for our Prep Tier 4 students will be next week, which is the 13th of September. Remember that these run every fortnight. The next online presentation for our older students will be on the 20th of September. Remember that every night you can all get together at 7:30 for the live Buddha Puja and Pirit chanting on YouTube. We couldn't bring you Pirit chanting or Sunday school lessons during lockdown if it wasn't for our valuable live stream team. So thank you so much. Thanks to the speakers for your preparation and delivery. And thanks again to our parents and students for making your time available. I hope everyone has learnt something new today. May you all be safe and healthy during this uncertain and different time. I will now respectfully invite the Venerable Panya Lokathero to conduct the sharing of merits. Teruwan Saranai, Avasarai Swami Wahansa, over to you, Venerable Panya Lokathero.
Okay, thank you, Theoni, and thank you the students and parents who participated in this session. We have accumulated a lot of merits. Discussing the Dhamma and learning the Dhamma is accumulation of merits. So we can share these merits with the divine beings and departed relatives. Just focus on the merits that you accumulated and share with divine beings. May the divine beings rejoice in these merits, and in return, may the divine being extend their protection to all the children and all the parents and all of us. Let's say recite the Gatha together. Akasatta ca bummatta devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu vasanang. Akasatta ca bummatta devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu desanang. Akasatta ca bummatta devanaga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu tvang sada. Idamme ñātīnaṃ hotu sukitā hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātīnaṃ hotu sukitā hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātīnaṃ hotu sukitā hontu ñātayo. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May all of you be well and happy. No harm come to any of you. No problems come to any of you. No difficulties come to any of you. May you enjoy good health, peace, and happiness. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.